All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel once again. I'm glad to have you here. Today, is another day. It's the last day of the month of October, and yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, amazing feeling that we just have 2 months left in the year. And if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Ransom Onyema. I'm a Nigerian medical student studying radiography with hopes to graduate and become a radiologist in the future. And apart from my medical studies, I'm a proficient medical writer. I do a whole lot of medical writing for a couple of clients internationally and locally, you know, and the kind of writings I do, I write white papers, project. I do scientific writing, research-based projects and medical articles, medical journal publications. I do writings on patient care materials. And so today I have an amazing guest. Her name is Sarah. And hey, Sarah, could you introduce yourself to my audience?
Hi, yes. Very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Sarah Nelson. I'm a medical writer and founder of my company Green Pen Solutions, which provides training and mentoring for medical writers, usually at the start of their career. I help a lot of medical writers to get their first job or first client. But I also work with medical writers throughout the different stages of the medical writing career ladder. So I'm still a medical writer. I still do some projects with clients on a freelance basis. Mostly I'm and I've been a freelancer since 2006, so over 17 years now, and I really enjoy both still doing some writing but also sharing my expertise with other people who are new to the field.
Awesome. Awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for introducing yourself to the audience. I believe that the audience can now see you as an experienced personality, and you're very qualified to answer these questions I have for you. So, Sarah, are you ready for the questions?
Yeah, I know you've got some tough questions, so I'm ready.
Yeah. It took me some couple of hours to get these questions done because I did a whole lot of researches based on that. So the first question goes this way. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, can you briefly explain what medical writing is to someone who is new to this field? So, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I think medical writing has become kind of an umbrella term. So it actually describes a lot of different types of writing these days. But essentially, it's taking medical and scientific information and communicating it to an audience, usually healthcare professionals, but sometimes to patients and the public as well. The type of medical writing that I do is called, here in the UK, it's called medical communications. And we're usually writing on behalf of pharmaceutical companies, like the makers of healthcare products and medicines. And we're communicating information about the new healthcare products to the people who are going to use them. So healthcare professionals, doctors, radiologists like yourself, pharmacists. But yes, I think it's important for people to understand that within medical writing, there's lots and lots of different types of writing that you can do.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. The second question goes this way. What are the important skills and qualities needed to be a successful medical writer? What are your thoughts on that?
Yep. So I use a framework to help explain this, and I call it the 5 pillars of medical writing, because I think a lot of people are under the impression that to be a medical writer, you need to have sort of a medical or scientific background and then be able to write well. And those skills are very important, but there's more to it than that. Something that is really important is being able to work to deadlines. So, time management, being able to juggle different projects and get the work that you need to deliver to your clients on time. So it can be medical writing can be quite sort of fast paced. So we need to be able to manage our time very well. And also I think storytelling is one of my pillars as well, because we need to be able to understand, how to communicate the information in the right way to the audience. So you could be taking some clinical trial data and creating it as a presentation and then as a publication. So that requires very different sort of storytelling techniques. So the 5 pillars that I use are technical writing, scientific understanding, agency skills, storytelling, and strategic thinking. And you can find out more about those on my website. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the fact that you talked about storytelling. Storytelling has a whole lot of connections to the readers out there, So once you develop that, attitude of storytelling in your content as a medical writer is very, very essential, So that's a very amazing question. So, Sarah, I want to ask you a question. The third one goes this way. Before I go into the question, there are changes, there are advancements and developments in terms of writing, like the introduction of AI, right? So my question goes this way. How can we keep up with the latest developments and guidelines in the field of medicine to achieve success in the medical writing field?
Yeah, that's quite a difficult question. I think again, depending on the type of writing that you're doing, there will be lots of different tools available to help you do what you need to do. So I know there are some tools that you can use that will help you sort of digest the literature. If you're doing a literature search, it will, obviously you've got like tools like PubMed that you can use, but there are AI tools out there that will help you to summarize, put it into tables, and that can really save you a really lot of time. There's tools that I've been using for many years, which isn't really AI, but things like editing software. After you've written a draft, you can run a program and it will pick up any sort of spelling mistakes or inconsistencies or abbreviations that you haven't defined. So I think those types of tools have been out there for quite a while and can, so again, just really, really save you a lot of time. And actually, something that I've been using lately and I've put into my training course is use of AI to capture meeting notes and transcripts of meetings like this. That can be really useful as well for medical writers. So I think there's lots of different things out there. If you're a fan of LinkedIn, there's always people sharing really, really useful information, and it's a matter of sort of taking notice of that, trying it out and see where it fits in your work, everyday work, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing, Sarah. I love the fact that you narrated that so well. You just hit the nail on the head, and that's amazing. So the fourth question goes this way. There are problems medical writers face. You have challenges, I have challenges. Everyone in the medical writing field has challenges they're facing. So how can the problems medical writers face, how can they overcome them?
I think, again, it's really just making sure that you're always learning, always sort of seeking out new ways. For example, if you get feedback on attention to detail, for example, this is something that often comes up when writers are starting, like in their careers. Junior writers often don't appreciate the level of accuracy that we need to be working towards as medical writers. So if you get feedback on your work, take stock of what the reviewer has said or the client has said, and then go away and find out, what's the right way to do it, what haven't you understood, and what do you need to understand to take on that feedback, and continual improvement. Even for myself, I'm always still sort of looking up, what does that statistical thing mean? What's this new mode of storytelling? What's this new way that I can use AI, not stay stuck in the past, and use these modern tools that are available?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the fact that you just spoke about, getting used to feedbacks, right? Feedbacks. I always tell my audience on LinkedIn, especially, I tell them that feedbacks builds trust amongst your audience. Once you give a client feedback, it builds trust, it builds credibility amongst audience,
Yeah.
and that's really amazing.
Yeah.
So there are like you said, there are different types of writings, right? So I want you to tell me what is the main difference between writing scientific articles and writing medical products. What are the difference? Just tell me about it.
Okay. So talking about sort of scientific articles as in like publications, that kind of thing, and then
Yeah,
versus
sure.
promotional materials. Okay. So in terms of like medical information, usually you're talking about like the generic name of the drug, rather than the brand name. In promotional materials, you can refer to the brand name itself. Often when you're working in a medical arena, so it depends on like the local guidelines, but if you're talking about something that is non-promotional, then obviously it has to present information in a very balanced way. And that's one of the, I think, benefits of working with a medical writer, is that we can ensure that we are, presenting a balanced view, very factual, and often follows a very sort of standard format. So if you're talking about a medical publication, then it will follow the standard format that we're all familiar with introduction, methods, results, discussion. Promotional,
Absolutely.
yeah. So promotional
Yeah, continue.
materials can be more, so they are by the nature that when the doctor or somebody receives this material, they know that it's like advertising, it's talking about the benefits of a single product. So here you can be more open that you were talking about a single brand, but still it has to be balanced. Okay, there's regulations and guidelines that I know you're aware of that say we still have to present the information in a balanced way, but we can be more creative, and that's where storytelling can come in. You can present the data in more of a creative way with it, supporting images, copywriting, sort of headlines and so on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so deep. I love the fact that you just clarified that, because I was having issues with this same question, and that's why I had to put it in, because I got a message from a lady on Instagram. I received a lot of messages on LinkedIn, but on Instagram I got a message from, a writer. Just she's a nurse, just started up, and she was like, she based in the UK, but she told me that I want to be a medical writer, but I want to focus on scientific writing. So she was like telling me, what's the difference between scientific writings and research-based project? Any difference about it? Well, I just had to send her a video I did with Maggie and the video I did with Peter Llewellyn. I'm still editing that fact. I just sent her the video. I haven't posted it on my YouTube yet. And she watched it, and that really answered her question. So I had to just, incorporate the question here for the audience to, grab something from it. And you really clarified it for me. Thank you so much. All right, let's move to the sixth question. So can you give me some tips for maintaining clarity and readability in complex medical documents? So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so when I started as a medical writer, my background was kind of, I'd done writing, is creative writing, but as well as my biology degree. So my writing, I think, was quite, what we say in the UK, like flowery, quite descriptive. And I was struggling with that when I started as a medical writer. And the best piece of information that really helped me was this phrase that I read in a book. I don't know where it was from, but it said, use the shortest possible words in the shortest possible sentence. And that really helped me. Like, obviously you can't take it literally, you can't use short sentences all the time, you do have to vary it, but it really helped me sort of write more clearly. And rather than using long sort of fancy words like, you know, we utilized the technology, you don't have to say utilize, you can say used. In the management of blah blah blah, you can just say managed. So always look, you know, write your first draft, write as you would write normally, and then you can go through and edit it and look for opportunities to cut words down. Yeah, and that really helped me, and that's still a piece of information that I share with my mentees now in my courses.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, you talk more about those your agency you're running right now, because there are going to be a lot of medical writers out there going to watch this video, and they will really, be interested, to join that agency, so that they can be, mentored, in terms of medical writing. Because I've been receiving, I saw that post you posted about a lady from Brazil. She got a writing agency. She got a writing job opportunity, and she's really grateful to you. So there are people out there that like benefit from this. So after the whole questions, you talk more about your agency and how you can apply and all such. All right. So
Yeah.
now the seventh question goes this way. Now there are rules and regulations in terms of medical writing, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
how is it important? Yeah. So how is it important to follow the rules in medical writing? How do you ensure this at work?
Yeah, so this is actually very important. So each country will have their own regulations about what the pharmaceutical about what pharmaceutical companies can and can't say, and the way that we can say it. So there's regulations at a national level, but also a regional level. So we've got some guidelines that cover Europe, but then also the international level as well. So the International Federation of Pharmaceutical Companies, I think it is. And if every medical writer should be looking at those guidelines if they're working on behalf of pharma companies, okay, because they will say things like it's not advisable to refer to any pharmaceutical product as safe. Okay, so that's almost like a red flag word for medical writers. We can't describe anything as safe. You can say it's well tolerated, you can say the safety profile has been studied extensively, but and then there's things like we can't call a product new if it's been on the market for more than 12 months. So there's all of these different, and then there's higher level things as well, rather than sort of individual words. So there's all different types of things that we need to be aware of, that we need to bring into our writing. For us in the UK, the most relevant one is called ABPI, so the Association of British Pharmaceutical Industry.
Okay, amazing. I love the fact that you talked about the differences, like in Africa, like in the Europe, like in different nations of the world, there are different rules and regulations, abiding those countries, each country's, globally. So I believe that question is really answered properly, and that's amazing, sir. That's amazing. So I'll talk about you right now. Forget about the audience, right? I want you to talk about yourself as an experienced medical writer like you. So tell me, what are the specific tools and softwares that you find particularly useful in medical writing that could benefit from, that other medical writers could benefit from?
Yeah, so I admit I'm quite old school about it. I am looking into like all of the new tools that are available, but there's some things that I use every day in my work. If I'm doing literature searches, I still rely on PubMed. I think that's the best source. You can still look at other things like Google Scholar. But I have like a method that I use which really helps me to do background reading that I've used for many years, and is quite efficient. So I don't use any sort of sophisticated tools there, but there's things like Clockify that I use to track my time. So again, it's really important for medical writers to be aware of where their time goes on different projects and for different clients. As I say, I use Perfectit software, which is an editing software, which I mentioned earlier. Kind of when you've written a first draft, you can run the Perfectit software and it will go through and pick up any sort of editorial errors that you might have left in. So things that you haven't defined, typos, inconsistencies between UK, US English, that sort of thing. And then I have just started to use Zoom's AI companion as well to like transcribe meetings such as this. So it will really save you a lot of time in meetings rather than scribbling down notes of what everybody says. The AI companion will take the notes for you, and then you can go through and afterwards and edit them as you need to. So that's been really useful, something that I've started using quite recently.
Wow, I love that Zoom AI stuff we talked about. It's amazing. I'll look into it. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
And I believe that the other medical writers out there will definitely benefit from this. So we have two more questions to run this meeting up. Sarah, you've been amazing, answering all those questions.
Oh, thank you. They're good questions.
Really
Yeah.
thorough. Yeah, I take my time to do things, right? I really take my time to do things, if I'm working on my client work, I take time to do it. I don't rush things, right? So what advice would you give to make writers want to be successful?
Sorry, can you repeat that? That one that crackled up. Could you repeat that question?
Okay. What advice would you give to medical writers out there who wants to be successful in this field?
Right. So the first piece of advice is something that I mentioned earlier, is just really take every opportunity that you can to improve your own skills. So there's lots of information out there that you can get for free that will help you to improve your writing. So clarity, writing in different ways, like different storytelling formats that we mentioned. You can find a lot of information out there for free, but if you want to make it easier for yourself, then there's obviously courses out there like my agency ready training course as well, which is really designed to give medical writers the fundamental skills that they need to take on a medical writing project. Okay, so that would be my first piece of advice, is just basically self-learning. Always go seek new information. The second thing is, I would say, take advice of the feedback that you get. Take notice of the feedback that you get. Okay, medical writers, we do get a lot of feedback all the time. Even somebody like me who's been writing for 17 years, still get lots of feedback from clients and editors. Take notice of it. Try to build it into your next project so that you're not sort of making the same issues for yourself again and again. And then I think the third thing, whether you're in employment or as a freelancer like yourself, I think networking, just making connections in the industry is really, really important. And that really is easier than ever with, online things like LinkedIn. Just make connections, chat to people, again, find out information, find out what's going on in the big world of medical writing beyond what you're doing in your role.
Wow, that's amazing, sir. That's really amazing. I love the fact that you narrated so well on that networking. You know, net can get you jobs opportunities as a writer. If like for instance, if you're networking to your other fellow writers out there, you can just discuss a a job opportunity that suits you,
Yeah.
suits your expertise, and they can just tag you on, or they can just refer you or something.
Yeah.
Building a relationship too. I will also add building a relationship with writers out there is also worth doing, right? So the last
Absolutely.
question, Sarah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how do you feel? How do you feel about the last question? Are you ready for it?
Sorry, say that again. Say that one again.
I said, are you ready for the last question? How
I'm
ready are you to
ready.
answer this?
I'm ready for the last question. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go. Can you share a memory or a project that demonstrate the impact of good medical writing on the medical writing industry?
Okay, so a memorable project that I've worked on that changed something. So that is actually a tough one, but it does bring to mind one project that I worked on several years ago now. It was a 2-day meeting, and it was a promotional meeting, but in actual fact it was very balanced. Like, we didn't mention the pharmaceuticals company's product. I think we mentioned it twice in the whole 2-day meeting. So it really was an update on the topic was inflammatory bowel disease. So we really gave, we looked for topics that were sort of changing the way that this health condition is managed, new insights into sort of research about the how the disease sort of manifests in the body. And then the main thing, the reason why it stuck in my mind is because we included patients as well. So there was a really, really powerful patient presentation from a lady who had ulcerative colitis, and she really sort of brought home to everybody the realities of living with that condition. I think it's rare for doctors with such sort of time pressure that they're under to really talk to patients and find out what it's really, really like for them. Often it's a very focused conversation on the disease and the next treatment and that sort of thing. So this lady really sort of talked about how she was considering not having children, that the condition was stopping her from having a family, it was affecting her work. Every day was a battle, really. So yeah, that's the project that I've worked on several years ago now, but it's always stuck in my mind. It was really hard work as well, because it was a 2-day meeting. There was something like 25 presentations. It was a lot of hard work, but it was a real success.
That's amazing, Sarah. You really answered 10 questions absolutely well. That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's really incredible. Wow. So, okay, before we round up this interview session for the audience, I would love you to talk about your agency and how prospective medical writers out there can apply or join, or how they can reach you.
Okay.
Instagram or LinkedIn or any other places.
Yeah. So the main thing that I offer to medical writers to help them in the next stage of their career is all grouped under the program that I call my Agency Ready program. And within this, there's several different things that you can choose on depending on what your needs are in your career. So there's a small course that is designed to help writers pass entry-level medical writing tests. So as part of the recruitment process, you need to pass a medical writing test and then probably progress to an interview. So I've got a short course called the Career Kickstarter course that will help people with that. I also have a more in-depth course which I've called the Foundations of Excellence, and this is again kind of everything that I've learned from being a medical writer. If I was going to take on a project tomorrow, this is how I would do it. I'll tell you all of my different processes that I use. I tell you what guidelines you should be looking at. I tell you how you can organize information and estimate your hours and do data checks. So this is really, I'm really proud of that course, actually. It's really everything that I think, you know, taking that, I think you could be really, really confident to start your next Medcomms project. And then the last thing that I've got under the Agency Ready umbrella at the moment is a 12-week coaching program. And this is to help support people, again, in the next stage of their career. So it could be that you're getting your first job. It could be that you're thinking about transitioning to become a freelancer. It could be that you're trying to get a promotion in your job. So it's a group coaching format, and it's really a great way to meet other writers and sort of get support through what can be a long transition process. So a lot of people get in touch with me through LinkedIn or through my website, greenpensolutions.com.
Amazing. Whoa, that's really amazing, Sarah. I really enjoyed this session with you. You know,
You too. Thank you.
I know you're very busy, you know, and you took out time to have a session with me, and I really adore that. I really honor this invitation, and thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you for being a guest in my YouTube, and I believe that this session is going to be very impactful to other writers out there or other audiences out there, because people that will come across this video wouldn't be a medical writer. So I believe that the first question I asked you will answer those for them. So amazing, Sarah. So everyone, you can subscribe and, you know, and like this video and send to people that need this video. Thank you so much for this video.
Thank you too. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, shall I stop recording?
Yeah, sure.